Yeah. So, hello, Mr. Napolitano.
Hello.
So, today's the day you get to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So, before you go home, there are a few things that I'd like to review with you and teach you actually. So, if you have any questions or feel that I'm going too fast while I'm reviewing some things with you, feel free to let me know and I will slow down and repeat anything you need repeated. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get started. So, as you know, you were admitted to the hospital the other day because um, you had fainted that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you got to the hospital in the emergency department, we found you were dehydrated and you had symptoms of anemia. And uh, all of that caused you to have low, or combination of dehydration and your symptoms of anemia caused you to have low blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's known as hypotension. And we also discovered that you suffer from a condition that's known as orthostatic hypotension. So what that means is as you stand up
Mm-hmm.
or go from a sitting position to a standing position, your blood pressure drops. So when you get up and stand up too quickly, your blood pressure drops quickly, and that's what makes you feel dizzy. So what we recommend when you go home is to take your time, pace yourself, and to when you go from a from a sitting to standing position, um, to do it slowly. Or even when you're in bed, when you go from a lying position to a sitting position, to take your time and to do it slowly. And even when you're in the bed and you go to a sitting position in the bed, to dangle your feet
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the bed for a couple seconds or a couple minutes until you feel that you're not dizzy, and then you can stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and make sure to also use your walker. That'll help as well. And let's see. So make sure to take your time, as we said. To make sure your blood pressure doesn't drop too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, you said your daughter mentioned that you have an electric blood pressure machine at home, right? Okay, so
Yes.
we recommend that you also check your blood pressure uh, on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and your daughter can help you with this as well, just to know what your normal blood pressure is when you're not feeling dizzy, and when you are
Mm-hmm.
feeling dizzy, to check it, just so you know what your normal levels are. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
in addition, if you don't have your electronic blood pressure machine handy to check your blood pressure all the time, what you can do also is monitor your heart rate. And you can do that actually by checking your pulse, and specifically your radial
Mm-hmm.
pulse. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to do that. So what you do, I already have an idea already. So
Okay.
yep, you're going to check it on your wrist, but on the side, on your thumb side. So the side
Mm-hmm.
of your wrist on your thumb side. And then you're going to feel for your pulse. Do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you see the clock here. Um, uh, to make it a quick check, you can count for 30 seconds uh, the pulsing, okay? And you can multiply that by 2 so you know what your average heart rate is in a minute then. Okay, so you're gonna check using this arm. I'll check using this one here, or your wrist, I should say, not your arm. So we'll do it together, and in 30 seconds, let me know what number you get. Okay. Okay. What number did you get?
31.
31 in 30 seconds, so you can
Mm-hmm.
multiply that by 2.
Mm-hmm.
So 62. So that's a normal heart rate. A normal heart
Okay.
rate is between 60 to 100. Anything less than 60 is a slower heart rate, and you'll definitely know, especially if you feel dizzy. So you might not necessarily feel dizzy when you have a heart rate less than 60, but most times, most people kind of do. So, or if you notice you're dizzy and check your heart rate, you can check your heart rate that way, checking your radial pulse, and that way you'll know what your normal numbers are. So you'll see what numbers you are when you're feeling dizzy, and then your normal heart rate when you're not feeling dizzy. Okay? All right. And lastly, when you leave the hospital, the doctors recommended that you have weekly appointments, and that's since you're prone to getting dehydrated because of the treatments you're receiving. In order to ensure that you don't get dehydrated, and to make sure that you don't have as many symptoms of anemia, you'll be having weekly appointments, so twice a week you'll be coming to the office, and then you'll be receiving some IV fluids. So through normal saline, kind of what you experienced while you were in the hospital, we gave you some fluids, and that's to help to make sure that your blood pressure stays at a normal rate or stays normal, and to make sure that to also check your blood, to check your lab levels, so they're going to be drawing blood as well. Okay, I hope that made sense, that I didn't confuse you. So just a quick recap, that you'll be coming twice a week, so they'll be giving you IV fluids as needed to make sure that you stay hydrated, and that your blood pressure doesn't drop too much, and they'll be doing blood work as well to make sure that your anemia is okay. Okay. Any questions for me? So just a quick recap and a quick quiz you before I let you go home. So what did we learn today? What are the takeaways from our teaching?
Yeah, I'm gonna standing up slowly.
And
Taking my radial pulse. And the last thing is I'm gonna have weekly appointments 2 times a week.
And then what are they going to be doing during those appointments? They're going to give you the IV fluids, and then they're also going to do blood work to make sure that to check your blood, your levels, to make sure your anemia, that you don't have any issues with your anemia. They'll be monitoring your anemia, and to make sure that you stay hydrated, they'll be giving you the IV fluids, so like normal saline. All right, but the big takeaway is you know how to check your radial pulse now. And let's see, so if you don't have any other questions, I say you pass. So you're an expert at checking your radial pulse now. If you could just sign here for me, an initial, and put the date, and you are good to go. And I'm glad you're feeling better. I hope you stay feeling better. And that's all. And your daughter's here to pick you up, right? She'll be here in a little bit? All right, great. Well, it was a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
You're welcome.